Well, last February, I tell you, it seems like a long time ago. Last February, President Trump threatened to withhold federal funds to states that refused to bar transgender athletes from women's sports. Seems like common sense. Well, the governor of Maine told him, "We'll see you in court."
Well, yesterday, that's just what happened. The Justice Department is suing the state of Maine for violation of Title IX, which forbids discrimination against women in education. CBN reporter Charlene Aaron has more.
The lawsuit follows weeks of feuding between the Trump administration and Maine's Democratic Governor Janet Mills that has led to threats to cut off Title IX federal funding for the state.
The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports.
Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the DOJ's lawsuit Wednesday, surrounded by a group of female student athletes, as well as former NCAA star swimmer Riley Gaines.
I'm frustrated that we have to be here, that we as women have to stand before you all on national television demanding equal opportunities, demanding privacy in areas of undressing, demanding safety in our sports.
In February, President Trump signed an executive order banning transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sports, warning states that refuse to comply they could lose federal funds. Maine's governor pushing back at a White House event, telling President Trump, "We'll see you in court." The administration says the state's education department is violating the federal Title IX anti-discrimination law by allowing biological males to participate on girls' teams. The DOJ lawsuit calls on the court to order the state to direct all schools to prohibit male participation in athletic competition designated for females. Bondi highlighted the example of a biological male who won first place in the pole vault in a Maine track and field meet, emphasizing that while the competitor beat every girl by a significant margin, the athlete also took a scholarship away from a young woman. She also says it's a matter of public safety.
These boys are allowed to go in women's restrooms. They are allowed to go in the women's dressing rooms and get fully naked and change in biological boys and change clothes in front of these young women.
Maine high school senior Cassidy Carlisle agrees.
My first experience was when I was 13 years old. I was going to change for gym, and I walked into the locker room, and there was a biological male there. The fact that our governor can look the women of our state in the eyes and say, "I'm not going to fight for you," is heartbreaking, and it's betrayal.
Meanwhile, more than 24 states have passed laws or regulations restricting transgender girls and women from competing in sports categories that don't align with their biological sex at birth. However, these laws are being challenged in court, with transgender rights advocates asserting that the playing field has never been level for women's sports. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, we'll definitely keep you posted on this story, but just you go back in time. It was about 6 years ago. There was an exhibition soccer game between the women who were part of the Olympic team for the United States and a group of high school boys. And the results ought to be eye-opening for everyone. The high school boys won. When you see that, and you can't help but say, there is a biological advantage to being male, both in terms of bones and muscle mass and all these other things that are so important in sports excellence. If you're going to have a Title IX, if you're going to have these protections for women, then you have to ensure that men don't participate.